It is something that is inevitable, and you're always going to come across players who are physical. And players in the game have so much technical talent, but we want to know how they can use that technical talent to get away from players who are physical and maybe more athletic, just like these creative players like James Maddison, Jack Grealish, and Phil Foden. They all have the ability to use their technique instead of getting drawn into the physical battles. Stronger and more athletic players want to compete in these areas where they can dominate you with their physique. But you don't have to do this. Play to your strengths. If we take a look in years gone by at players like Paul Scholes and Pirlo, they played to their strengths, outthought players rather than outfighting them. And you can compete by using your own strengths and making the game yours. To do that, we've got to be intelligent in how we move off the ball to create space to receive. What's important is that you don't get drawn into the physical battles. As we can see here, our midfielder's looking to receive the ball, but it's pretty obvious that defensive player is going to be tight and make it a tough physical battle. So what we want to try and do is have movement to create separation, and you can do that by tricking the defender. So in this situation here, our midfielder has spun in behind, making the defender step back, which has created a huge space in the middle to drop deep, get on the ball, and then turn and play. Without that movement, the defender is going to be tight and stop that attacking player from turning. So the movement to create separation and that intelligence to be aware of how you can move the defender out of position allows that player to get on the ball and play forwards. Movement to create space and separation from the opponent is key, but the big thing is being sure that you are aware of your surroundings and those of the other players on the pitch. Top players who are maybe a little bit smaller in stature need to be aware of those surroundings because they don't want to get drawn into a physical battle. Doing so then loses their advantage of their speed of thought and technical quality. So by standing still and not being aware of what's happening around, can bring this situation upon them, making it more difficult for them to go and affect the game. And this can happen if you aren't aware. But you can avoid these areas or these physical duels if you do some certain things. And firstly, you've got to check your shoulders. Know where your teammates are so you can see their movement. If then you do that, you've got the idea of playing first time or making certain decisions. But if you take too many extra touches, it can potentially draw some extra pressure. So we can avoid these physical situations by being aware. And as we can see here, as the ball's getting played into our midfielder, the midfielder needs to be aware of the options around them. They can see the two attacking players that they can pass to, but they're also noticing the movement of the defender and the pressure that defender is going to make. So as the defender steps in, they can see what's going to happen and be aware of the situation. By checking the shoulders, you can see the movement of the defender and potentially play the ball around the corner. You've then moved the ball away from that pressure, and then you can have good movement off it to get back on it once again. And then that creates the opportunity for you to get the ball in space, creating that separation again from your opponent and giving you the opportunity to show your technical skills. So if you don't want to get drawn into those physical battles, you've got to move off the ball. And you've got to make sure that you feel confident enough to not get involved in them if you don't have to. At times you'll need to, but if that's not your game, don't feel pressured to go shoulder to shoulder with a big, strong player. Focus on having good movement so that you can create space and move away from the danger. Be aware of what's happening by checking your shoulders, and that movement can then help you create separation from you and your opponent, giving you more time and space on the ball, allowing you to get on it, dictate the play, and move away from the trouble and those physical battles that will happen if you hold on to it for too long.